If you listen to modern fitness gurus or watch Hollywood movies, you would naturally think that prehistoric humans were basically massive, bloodthirsty carnivores. The famous modern paleo diet is constantly advertised as an endless, epic feast of giant grilled steaks, massive ribs, and absolutely zero carbohydrates. We love to imagine our ancient ancestors as apex predators, conquering the brutal wilderness with nothing but a sharp spear and an endless appetite for fresh meat. But what if you could actually time travel back to the Stone Age and sit down for a real prehistoric dinner? Prepare to be slightly disappointed, because the actual daily menu of an average ancient human was significantly less cool than an action movie. However, the reality of how they actually fueled their bodies to survive is infinitely more fascinating. So, put away your giant barbecue grill, because the truth about the ancient human diet will completely shatter everything you thought you knew. How did this massive misunderstanding start? Why does everyone, including early scientists, firmly believe that ancient humans were exclusively hardcore carnivores? The answer lies in a massive, unintentional scientific illusion known as preservation bias. It is a very simple matter of prehistoric chemistry. When archaeologists excavate a campsite that is 50,000 years old, what exactly do they find? They find massive, durable piles of shattered mammoth bones, heavily scarred animal ribs, and fossilized skulls. Do you know what they absolutely never find? A perfectly preserved prehistoric salad. Plant matter, like wild berries, leafy greens, and fibrous roots, decomposes incredibly quickly. Bones survive for millions of years. A prehistoric carrot rots into nothingness in a few short weeks. Because early archaeologists only ever dug up animal bones and hunting spears, they logically, but incorrectly, assumed that meat was the only thing on the menu. Judging the ancient human diet, based entirely on surviving bones, is exactly like digging through a modern landfill in a million years, finding only plastic wrappers, and concluding that 21st century humans survived entirely on a diet of plastic bags and soda cans. Furthermore, we severely underestimate just how incredibly difficult and terrifying prehistoric hunting actually was. The modern paleo fantasy pictures a heroic, muscular hunter effortlessly taking down a massive beast every single morning. In reality, hunting Ice Age megafauna with a sharpened rock tied to a stick was not a fun, reliable hobby. It was a desperate, highly dangerous gamble. A frail human stickman versus a 3-ton, heavily armored woolly rhinoceros is an extremely unfair fight. The failure rate for hunting was staggeringly high. A group of hunters could easily track a herd for several agonizing days, burn thousands of crucial calories, and return to the camp completely empty-handed, exhausted, and bleeding. If a prehistoric tribe relied exclusively on hunting large game for their daily breakfast, lunch, and dinner, they would have literally starved to death in a matter of weeks. Therefore, fresh meat was absolutely not an everyday staple. A successful hunt was a rare, monumental event, leading to a massive celebratory community feast before the meat inevitably spoiled in the heat. So, if they were constantly failing to kill mammoths and rarely eating steak, what were they actually eating to survive the brutal, unforgiving Stone Age? The true survival of the human species did not rely on the glorious, blood-soaked victories of the hunters. Instead, the real backbone of the prehistoric economy was the silent, incredibly reliable, and deeply underappreciated work of the gatherers. Modern anthropological studies of surviving hunter-gatherer tribes have revealed a shocking statistic. In many prehistoric environments, up to 80% of the total daily calories came directly from gathered plant foods, not meat. While the hunters were out spending days exhausting themselves and repeatedly failing to catch a single deer, the gatherers, often consisting of women, elders, and children, were steadily providing a guaranteed, daily feast that physically kept the entire tribe alive. They were the true, unsung heroes of the Stone Age. But what exactly were they putting in their woven baskets? If you are picturing a lovely, sweet, modern supermarket fruit salad, you are completely wrong. Prehistoric gathered food was incredibly tough, highly fibrous, and required serious jaw strength. Their daily menu was dominated by deeply buried wild roots, hard tubers, resilient seeds, raw nuts, and bitter seasonal greens. Finding these foods was not just a casual walk in the woods. It required an astonishing level of intelligence. ancient gatherers were basically master botanists. They had to memorize a vast, complex mental encyclopedia of hundreds of different plant species. They knew exactly which roots were highly nutritious, which ones needed to be soaked to remove bitter toxins, and which innocent-looking berries would instantly kill you. Furthermore, the gatherers provided a massive, incredibly reliable source of protein that modern humans find absolutely repulsive: insects. Before you gag, consider the brilliant prehistoric logic. Why risk your life fighting an angry wild boar when you can simply turn over a rotting log and find a massive colony of fat, juicy grubs? Insects, termite larvae, and ants are essentially the ultimate prehistoric superfood. They are extremely dense in protein, packed with essential healthy fats, rich in crucial vitamins, and best of all, they absolutely never fight back. For an ancient human desperately trying to survive, a handful of roasted caterpillars was a free, low-risk, high-energy snack. The gatherers, armed with their digging sticks, encyclopedic botanical knowledge, and an open mind about eating bugs, were the true reason humanity did not starve into extinction. While gathering nuts and hunting insects kept our ancient ancestors from starving, the raw prehistoric diet had a massive biological limitation. Digesting raw, tough, fibrous roots and uncooked meat takes a tremendous amount of physical energy and hours of endless chewing. If you only eat raw food, your body has to work incredibly hard just to extract the basic calories, leaving very little energy for anything else. But then, roughly 1 million years ago, our ancestors discovered the single most important technological breakthrough in the history of human nutrition: the mastery of fire. When ancient humans figured out how to control flames and roast their food, they did not just invent the world's first barbecue, they essentially invented an external stomach. Cooking food over a roaring fire is a profound biological hack. Heat physically alters the chemical structure of food. It breaks down the tough, rigid cellular walls of plants and melts the dense connective tissues in animal meat. Furthermore, fire neutralizes deadly botanical toxins and kills dangerous parasites. When an ancient gatherer tossed a hard, bitter, slightly toxic wild tuber into the hot coals, the intense heat transformed it into a soft, safe, and easily digestible package of high-density carbohydrates. By cooking their food, early humans unlocked a massive, hidden vault of calories that were previously inaccessible in raw foods. Suddenly, they were getting twice the energy for half the digestive effort. This fiery nutritional revolution completely changed the evolutionary trajectory of the human body. Because humans no longer needed to spend 8 hours a day violently chewing raw vegetation, our massive jaw muscles began to shrink. Even more importantly, because the fire was doing the heavy lifting of breaking down the food before it even entered the mouth, humans no longer needed a massive, energy-draining digestive tract. Our intestines drastically shortened. The human body is a highly efficient machine, so the massive amount of biological energy that was previously wasted on digesting raw food was immediately redirected to power a completely different, incredibly hungry organ: the human brain. The brain requires an astonishing 20% of your daily calories just to function. Without the massive calorie boost provided by cooked, starchy root vegetables and roasted meats, our brains simply could not have grown to their current, highly intelligent size. The superpower of fire literally built the modern human mind. We did not just conquer the world by eating meat, we conquered it by learning how to cook. So, the next time someone tries to sell you an expensive, meat-heavy paleo meal plan, you can politely remind them of the truth. There was absolutely never one single, magical prehistoric diet. If an ancient human lived near the frozen tundra, they ate mostly meat to survive. If they lived in a lush, dense jungle, they survived primarily on fruits, nuts, and fibrous tubers. If they lived on the coast, they ate massive amounts of oysters and fish. The ultimate ancient human superpower was not being a giant, bloodthirsty apex predator. It was our unmatched, incredible biological flexibility. Our ancestors simply ate absolutely anything they could find that would not kill them. They were opportunistic scavengers, brilliant gatherers, and occasional lucky hunters who literally cooked their way to the very top of the food chain. While we completely owe our massive modern brains to their fiery culinary inventions, please do not run into your backyard to snack on live caterpillars just to feel more historically authentic. Stick to the modern grocery store, appreciate your safely cooked meals, and leave the hardcore bug eating to the true survival professionals of the Stone Age. If this video completely ruined your prehistoric barbecue fantasies, but blew your mind with real science, hit that like button and subscribe for more mind-bending history myths busted. Keep wondering, keep learning, and as always, stay simply ancient.